SourceFed is a news website and YouTube channel created by Philip DeFranco in January 2012 as part of YouTube's $100 million original channel initiative and was originally produced by James Hafner. SourceFed now mainly focuses on pop culture, news, and technology, while also relying on their own personalities. History Inception SourceFed was an idea Philip DeFranco had been considering as an evolution of his own YouTube channel. In an interview with Forbes, DeFranco stated that he originally wanted to turn his daily show into several daily segments. He added that there was confusion among his audience when this format was tested, convincing DeFranco that he would need to create a new series to not alienate his audience, but to grow it, as well. The SourceFed YouTube channel was created in April 2011, and was originally based on a blog of the same name. The channel became defunct shortly afterwards. However, in late 2011, YouTube began its funding of original or premium content channels. DeFranco revealed that he acquired the funding to launch the channel by originally promising YouTube that the channel would be run as a celebrity gossip channel, and that it would consist of a single show rather than multiple different shows. However, DeFranco negotiated for less funding, in return to have creative control over the channel's content. The funding would be provided by YouTube, as the channel was part of YouTube's original content initiative. Due to DeFranco's position as a YouTube partner, the website offered him funding for an original channel. The channel which he created, SourceFed, was one of these channels. The channel was originally produced by James Hafner. The channel launched as an original channel on January 23, 2012. DeFranco stated that he wants to create the next news network. Along with the staple show, SourceFed, 5 additional shows began airing within the first month of the channel's January 2012 launch. Curb Cash, One-on-One, DeFranco incorporated behind-the-scenes, commentary and bloopers. Curb Cash ended in March 2012. The new Movie Things show, a movie review series, and a movie club-style series titled The SourceFed Movie Club were launched in May 2012. Since then, SourceFed has debuted new additions to the channel's lineup. As additional content was being introduced, the SourceFed crew expanded to consist of 7 hosts, several editors, and 1 producer. In March 2012, Philip DeFranco announced that he would take the SourceFed crew to VidCon 2012. The 4 hosts of 20 minutes or less, along with DeFranco, had a Q&A panel and performed at VidCon 2012. 2012 Maxim Hot 100. On February 6 and April 3, 2012, SourceFed crashed the Maxim Hot 100 voting website. The cause of the crashes were YouTube and Morgan telling their audience through 20 minutes or less to vote for Lee Newton as a write-in candidate. Maxim later came out with an article noting that Newton has list potential. In May 2012, it was announced that Lee Newton placed 57th on the 2012 Maxim Hot 100 list. 2012 Election Hub. SourceFed hosts Meg Turney and Elliot Morgan, along with Philip DeFranco, presented a series of videos as part of YouTube's Election Hub during the 2012 Democratic National Convention and the 2012 Republican National Convention, and joined journalists during live coverage streamed at the end of each night of the conventions. A public relations representative for YouTube stated "OE having awesome partners like Philip DeFranco involved will attract younger viewers and he will have a really fresh take on politics." YouTube's Election Hub channels for major news networks only received several hundred views, whilst DeFranco's videos on Election Hub received tens of thousands. It was put down to it being in an experimental stage. Most of the partners of Election Hub, excluding DeFranco, Al Jazeera English and BuzzFeed, struggle to garner 1,000 views of their on-demand content during the RNC. During the videos, Turney predicted that the DNC will not make a difference for young voters. During the conventions, SourceFed uploaded videos explaining them. Live 2012 Election Night Coverage, a 5-hour live event hosted by SourceFed and DeFranco, was nominated for a Streamy Award for Best Live Event. Spin-off and acquisition by Revision 3 . On May 16, 2013, a spin-off show, SourceFed Nerd, was announced. a teaser trailer was released, promising the debut of the channel on May 20. The new Movie Things show, the SourceFed Movie Club, and Table Talk were moved to the Nerd channel. The spin-off channel hosted a live version of the Table Talk series during the YouTube Comedy Week in 2013. The online stream was received well, being successful in terms of both raw viewership, as well as viewer retention. On September 19, 2013, the SourceFed Nerd channel reached 500,000 subscribers. On the Nerd channel, several topics relating to nerd culture are covered. When conventions related to the fields of gaming and technology, such as CES, occur, the channel sends some of its hosting personalities to cover news from the convention. During her time on the channel, Tricia Hirschberger was a frequent on-field reporter, as well as generally associated with discussing tech news. In June 2013, Philip DeFranco sold SourceFed along with the other channels under his DeFranco creative portfolio to Revision 3. DeFranco also became an exec of Discovery Digital Networks and the senior vice president of Phil DeFranco Networks and Merchandise as a result of the move. DeFranco's Sheffield channel was already signed under the Revision 3 network. In 2013, SourceFed was announced to be a sponsor of that year's VidCon, as well as special guests of the event. The event would be held in August. During the event, the couch featured on commentary was eaten by Sharkzilla, the mascot of Shark Week. DeFranco previously hosted Discovery Channel's Shark Week event. While at VidCon 2013, DeFranco gathered 554 people to play Ninja, a playground game, claiming the amount to be a world record. Changes in hosting and content. Initial changes in hosting lineup. In April 2014, it was announced that Elliot Morgan and Meg Turney would both be leaving SourceFed by the end of the month. DeFranco asked for the cooperation and support of SourceFed fans in relation to the announcements. DeFranco also gave information on the whereabouts of Ross Everett, stating he had been moved back as a writer, as he had not appeared in front of the camera as a host in an unusually long period. Everett himself responded to Turney's and Morgan's departure announcements by comically tweeting "I'm leaving at SourceFed," a reference to a character on the series. The announcements came after a month in which three new hosts, William Haynes, Raina Scully, and Matt Lieberman, were introduced. On April 11, 2014, Morgan appeared in his last video, the 115th episode of Commentary. On April 18, 2014, Turney appeared in her last video on an episode of Nerd Commentary. However, on April 20, additional blooper footage featuring Morgan and Turney was uploaded. Soon after, on April 21, Everett posted the announcement of his departure via his Twitter account. Similar to Morgan and Turney, Everett shortly departed from SourceFed on good terms. His departure allowed him to work on the new show, which, like SourceFed, is part of Discovery Digital's online catalog of entertainment. Morgan and Turney would also appear in other media promptly after their departures. Morgan would work with Mashable, while Turney would become a Rooster Teeth personnel. Controversy. In September 2014, Zaragoza and Newton hosted a news story covering various charities' refusal of donations from Reddit, following the then-recent celebrity nude photo leaks. The video received criticism from the SourceFed fanbase, and according to StatSheep, the channel lost over 20,000 subscribers. Additionally, nude photos claiming to be of Hirschberger were leaked onto the internet as part of the hacks that Zaragoza and Newton covered. However, Hirschberger quickly debunked the claims, posting pictures of her birthmarks, proving the leaked photos did not feature her. Following the controversy, Zaragoza posted a message onto his Reddit account defending his stance as he presented in the video. DeFranco also took to Reddit, stating that the significant drop in subscribers was either due to an error of that individual stats website or YouTube removing dead accounts. Additionally, in response to requests or demands in favor of removing or firing any hosts, DeFranco stated, "No. I let SourceFed control their own creative." The video has approximately between a 49 to 51% and 48 to 52% like-to-dislike ratio. addition of content and continued hosting lineup shuffling. In November 2014, the Nerd Channel launched SourceFed, a food critique-style series. The first episode provided reviews from Zaragoza and Lieberman on Pizza Hut's then new menu. On December 19, 2014, during a commentary episode, Peter announced he would be leaving SourceFed as well. Peter posted a blog entry on his website detailing his next venture, stating, "Moving forward, Euro unregistered trademark LLB joining up with Defy Media as a creative director to create new shows across all their brands and work closely with Smosh on exciting new comedy projects." In February 2015, Sam Bashaw became a full-time host on SourceFed. On February 27, 2015, SourceFed hosted a live event from YouTube Space LA. The show contained live versions of the weekly recurring shows and spoof bits done by the hosts. The show was live-streamed to YouTube. In 2015, Brie Esrick began appearing on SourceFed News Stories, and on March 24, 2015, officially joined the SourceFed team as a full-time employee. On Esrick's hire, the head of Discovery Digital Networks, Jeremy Atzvado stated, "We are thrilled to have Brie join the Discovery Digital Networks family and the SourceFed team. SourceFed is the ultimate destination for pop culture news, anchored by the best personalities on the web." Brie Euro unregistered trademark's unique mix of humor, intelligence and creativity will only bolster this incredible brand. Within the following week, Hershberger and Newton announced their departures from SourceFed. Later in the year, former Nickelodeon Australia host Maude Garrett joined the channel as a full-time host. As of June 17, 2015, the SourceFed channel has accumulated over 1.5 million subscribers and 747 million video views. Format and production: SourceFed is a series where hosts Steve Zaragoza, Raina Scully, Matt Lieberman, William Haynes, Brie Esrick, Maude Garrett, and Elliot Morgan present news stories, covering a variety of topics. Episodes of the series are presented in a comedic daily newscast format. Peter is the head writer for SourceFed. Sam Bashaw is also a writer for the series. Due to only presenting 5 stories a day, stories covered on SourceFed cross-pollinate, or are influenced by news stories on The Philip DeFranco Show. SourceFed's news stories are also referred to as white wall videos. George Witzke's music is commonly used throughout the series in the background. Hosts Joe Peter, Lee Newton, and Elliot Morgan were the 3 original hosts on the series and served as the main channel's news hosts. On April 2, 2014, Morgan announced that he would be leaving the channel. In December 2014, Peter announced he would be leaving SourceFed. On March 28, 2015, Newton announced her departure from SourceFed. Elliot Morgan and Joe Peter have made guest appearances on the channel, with Elliot appearing on The Study, and Joe Peter being featured in a podcast, as well as a table talk. Steve Zaragoza, Meg Turney, and Tricia Hershberger were a second wave of news hosts introduced from February to July 2012. When the SourceFed Nerd spin-off was launched, Zaragoza, Turney, and Hershberger were featured as the main 3 hosts of the channel. On April 3, 2014, Turney announced that she would be leaving the channel. On March 25, 2015, Tricia Hershberger announced on Twitter that she would be leaving SourceFed and did so on April 21, 2015, but has promised to return frequently and has already made guest appearances. Ross Everett was introduced as the 7th on-camera recurring host, after spending time as writer for the series. In April 2014, DeFranco announced he was moved back to his writing position. However, near the end of the month, Everett announced his complete departure from SourceFed, in a TUMBLR blog post, which had less fanfare surrounded than Morgan's or Turney's departures. William Haynes, Matt Lieberman, and Raina Scully were introduced as a third batch of hosts in March 2014, serving as the de facto replacements for Morgan, Everett, and Turney. Philip DeFranco, DJ Wildridge, and Danny Rosenberg have made occasional appearances as hosts or reporters. DeFranco is the creator and producer of SourceFed and was a frequent host in its first 2 launch weeks. Wooldridge as an editor for the series. Sam Bashaw accepted an offer to become an official host on the SourceFed and Nerd channels in February 2015. He was previously a writer for the channels and made several appearances in videos. He was also the host for DeFranco's merchandising branch, For Human Peoples. Bashaw announced his departure from the For Human Peoples branch of DeFranco's network on February 18, 2015. On March 24, 2015, it was announced that Bree Esrig, YouTuber and co-host of Pop Trigger on the Young Turks networks, would be joining the SourceFed team as an official host. On February 24, 2015, popular YouTuber Steven Suptic, also known as MLGHWNT, joined SourceFed in order to launch the gaming-focused sister channel Super Panic Frenzy. SourceFed announced on May 14, 2015 that Australian TV and radio host Maud Garrett would join as a full-time host. Host timeline Guest hosts, SF News guest hosts reporters. Additional series on main channel. In addition to daily news coverage, SourceFed produces several shows. These include Commentary, one of the longest-running series on the channel, second only to the main SourceFed series. The series features hosts voicing their opinion or commentary on the viewers' comments that were posted on the main SourceFed videos. One-on-One, an interview-style show, where a member of SourceFed interviews an individual. Mainstream celebrities such as Kevin Pereira, Alice Eve, Gillian Jacobs, and internet personalities such as Hank Green, Justine Azaric, Felicia Day, Hoodie Allen, and Jenna Marbles, are among those who have been interviewed on the series. DeFranco incorporated Behind the Scenes, a series that captures several behind-the-scenes moments during the filming and production of all shows. Bloopers, a series that presents bloopers from the main show. The New Movie Things Show, a movie review-style show, launched SourceFed on May 11, 2012 as their Saturday show to replace Curb Cash after its season finale the week before. It was originally hosted by Philip DeFranco and Steve Zaragoza, but now each SourceFed host alternates in their appearances on the series. The show was released the same weekend as the SourceFed Movie Club and was eventually moved to DeFranco's main YouTube channel. The series was cancelled shortly thereafter. On September 28, 2012, the show returned on SourceFed with Zaragoza and Meg Turney reviewing the film Looper. A clip from TNMTS was used as a point of criticism against SourceFed. Table Talk, a series that features three of the SourceFed co-hosts, and occasionally DeFranco, speaking about topics that viewers suggested through Twitter, using the hashtag #TableTalk or on Reddit via Reddit.com SourceFed. The series is commonly presented by Strandsms. The series was taken off the main SourceFed channel, and moved to the SourceFed Nerd channel in May 2013. Movie Club, SourceFed and Nerd hosts alternate in a movie review show featuring films found on Netflix on the Nerd channel. 5 Things You Missed This Week, a series in which the hosts of the SourceFed channel discuss 5 topics that were not previously covered by them in the preceding week. People Be Like, host William Haynes shares his thoughts on the world, while mainly focusing on internet culture, trends and occurrences. The Loop host Matt Lieberman breaks down the most important stories of the week in 5 minutes. Politics Be Like host William Haynes shares his thoughts on American politics in a late-night talk show format. Reception. On May 26, 2012, the SourceFed YouTube channel reached the 100 million video view milestone. From May to December 2012, Deadline Hollywood tracked the weekly views of all the original premium channels on YouTube. The channel was consistently one of the top original channels every week. On August 1, 2012, SourceFed became the first of the YouTube original channels to reach 500,000 subscribers. In celebration of the event, 20 Minutes or Less uploaded a special video onto SourceFed that featured clips of SourceFed's audience congratulating them and stating the reason that they subscribed to the channel. SourceFed is one of the most popular YouTube original channels, as the channel earns over 20 million monthly views and has a Slate score of 736. The Wall Street Journal noted that it was hard to figure out why the simplicity of the idea behind SourceFed has been able to receive mass appeal. However, due to its success, SourceFed was among the 30 to 40% of original channels to be renewed by YouTube in November 2012. The Nerds spin-off channel hosted a live table talk event during YouTube Comedy Week in 2013, which received over 41,000 streams. On July 14, 2013, the SourceFed channel reached 1 million subscribers. SourceFed was nominated for 4 awards at the 3rd Streamy Awards, winning in the Audience Choice for Series of the Year category. After winning the Streamy Audience Choice Award for Series of the Year, SourceFed was criticized. The Atlantic criticized an episode of the new Movie Things show, and went on to comment, "The audience pick for Series of the Year went to SourceFed, which consists of short clips of people explaining things in loud, fast voices, and it's not even close to quality programming. Just something goofy to watch online." The following year, SourceFed won the award for News and Current Event Series, but losing for the Audience Choice Award they had won the year before. Awards and nominations. Appearances in other media. SourceFed creator Philip DeFranco appeared alongside SF hosts Steve Zaragoza and Lee Newton in a Taco Bell advertisement. The ad unveiled the Cool Rancher registered trademark Doritos Locos Taco. References